Hey everybody, I want to just give you a really simple sequence to work with the hips. I'm teaching a hip workshop in Japan in a couple weeks, so this has been on my mind. There's really nothing simpler you can do to work on your hips than what we call supta padangustasana 1, 2, and 3 in our yoga practice. And for that you need a strap. All you're going to do is you're going to take this strap and hook it around your heel, bring your leg up, and then wrap the strap a couple times around your hand. Your opposite leg is straight, and then you're going to hold this hamstring stretch. The key to getting this hamstring to stretch is that you keep the knee straight. So if that means that your flexibility is here, that's great. That means if your flexibility is here, that's great. And that means if your flexibility is all the way over here, that's great. But I want you to be comfortable. I don't want you to feel like you're grinding and gripping and trying to force some intense stretch. I want you to just find a place that you can hold for a minute. So you're going to be here, and you're going to hold it just for a minute. After that, you're going to take supta padangustasana 2. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to shorten the strap on the outside of my leg. This is my left leg. So I'm holding it in my left hand right here. The rest of the strap goes behind the head and then is held in the opposite hand. And then you just hold here. This way you're getting this stretch on what we call the frontal plane, but you don't have to just muscularize by using your arm. You have support from your arm, from the back of your head, and from your right hand. So this way you can actually hold the pose for another minute or so. After you're done with that, you'll take supta padangustasana 3. Now you're not going to take supta padangustasana 3 the way most people do it, where they just bring the leg all the way to the side and they twist and they have the spinal twist. That's great. That's just not what we're going to do. What I'm going to have you do is go from supta padangustasana 1, and you're going to bring your leg over just as much as you can adduct it across your body. You see that my hip is not lifting up. So you're going from 1 to just adduct, cross over the midline of the body as much as you can, and then you hold here. This is a very intense stretch to the back of the leg and a little bit of that sciatic nerve as well. So you'll hold this for 60 seconds. Do each one, do both sides, the left and the right leg. That's supta padangustasana 1, 2, and 3. It's a great start and a great way to begin stretching into your hip. The next thing you're going to do is actually supta padangustasana 4. So watch closely with me. We're all going to have to do this differently based on the level of flexibility. But first I'm going to have my right leg bent. I'm still stretching the left, but I'm going to bend the right leg. The left leg's going to come up, and if you have the ability to, you're going to take the outside of your foot here and put it into the crux of your elbow. So that goes here just like that. Again, now if you can, your other arm wraps around and you interlace your fingers. Now you can straighten that other leg. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. You can keep it bent a little bit or straighten it. You're just going to lean back a little bit and bring this shin closer to your chest. So you're here just getting the stretch. But here's where I'm going to really ask you guys to play. After you're here for a little bit, you're going to roll onto your side, hold yourself here, and you see my head's close to my shin, and I'm just pulling the leg in towards my chest, in towards my shin. Next, instead of just doing this passive stretch, I'm going to have you take your whole shin and press it this way. So you're pressing into your hand, into your arms. That's going to engage everything through here. And after you press for 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds, whatever you feel comfortable with, you'll release and pull closer. Press again, release, and pull closer. Now some of you aren't able to grasp around like so. For you guys, you can either do something like this. If you have the ability to do this, you can do this. Whatever you're doing, you can do this and this. Whatever you're doing to get this external rotation in your hip and get this stretch. I'm giving you one more thing, and this is one of my favorites. So after you're here, right? I'm here. Some of you guys are going to be here like this. This is great. Some of you guys are going to be like this. That's also fine. You're going to hold one hand here and one hand right at the ankle, and you're going to pull in. So you're getting this really deep external rotation inside of the hip joint. And again, I'm going to press the shin. You're going to press the shin out into the hands. That's going to engage all these glutes. Press, and then release and pull closer. Press, and then release and pull closer. You're getting a big external rotation in the hip. You're getting a big opening for your hip joint capsule. You're getting a real kind of freedom inside of there. Give that one a shot. Hope that helps. Now, after doing supta padangustasana 1, 2, 3, and 4 passively, we also want to do them actively. That passive stretch is using a strap or using gravity or something like that to increase the flexibility, but the active range of motion increases motor control and increases our ability to develop strength in those same areas. So, the first thing you'll do is Supta Padangusthasana 1. And to do that, you'll just bring the legs straight up into the air. Now I'm going to ask you just to hold this for about 30 seconds. You don't have to do a minute, but to hold for 30 seconds and see how high you can bring your leg. In addition to doing this, you can also bend the knee and do what we call in physical therapy straight leg raises. So you're here, and you're just going to go up and down a couple times. This really develops strength in the quadricep, believe it or not. It's a little harder than you think. What I don't want you to do when you bring the leg up and down is flatten and arch your back. I don't want you doing something like this. That's not going to help. That's just doing a lot of lower back stuff. So I want you to grip the abs a little bit, stabilize the low back, don't let it hyperextend and flatten. And you'll just go up and down. Right now I have a little space behind my back, that's fine. I could also flatten my back and have no space. That's a little bit more of an abdominal exercise. So you're going to play with both of these. After that, you'll straighten the leg and take the leg out to Supta Padangusthasana 2. And you'll go up and down a couple times. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Gets tiring really quick. We're not going to do Supta Padangusthasana 3, we're skipping that, but we are going to do Supta Padangusthasana 4. So you're going to come here, make sure that your knee and hip are perpendicular. You have one straight line. You'll see there's a tendency to want to come out like this, but make one straight line. You'll hold external rotation, that's this guy, and then you go internal rotation. External rotation, making sure this is straight up. Internal rotation, making sure this is straight up. You can see I've got a lot less internal rotation than external rotation. External, internal, and then you're going to play, and you're going to go back and forth quickly. Internal, external, internal, external, internal, external. What this does is it really hydrates inside of the hip joint. If you have pain, if you have discomfort, avoid it. Don't worry about this. You can skip it. But if you don't, going back and forth creates a freedom inside of the joint that is almost unparalleled to some other things you'll do. I know it's a silly exercise. It's really important. Internal, external, internal, external. And you just go back and forth. Okay? After that, lay down and let it rest. See how that works for you. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to do something that creates hip circumduction or full range of motion in the hip. I really like to do this after you do that internal, external. It almost feels like your hip is just wanting to do this next exercise, and then you get to rest after that. So for this, you're going to lie on your back, and you're going to make 2 fists and press them into the ground. We want your leg and your torso and everything else to be stable, so the only thing that's working is your left leg and hip. From here, you'll just make circles as wide as you can. Now be careful, you want to make all of this stable so you're not doing something like this. We don't want that, that's again just put stress on the back, but we want this to be stable. And you're going to make as wide circles as you can, and you're going to go each direction. Now you might feel a little clicking or popping in the hip. If that's there, don't worry about it, unless it hurts. If it hurts, avoid it. But if it's just a clicking, it's just a normal, natural thing in your hip. Go back and forth as many times as you can. Sometimes after doing this, my leg's so tired I just need to rest. And every now and then, I'll just like to give myself a little Supta Padangusthasana 1 again, just to stretch into the hamstring, like so. But do it as much as you can until it gets tired. You'll see it'll get fatigued very quickly. When it gets fatigued, you can push it a little more if you want, but you can also just stop. These 4, I guess it's not 4 because it's Supta Padangusthasana 1, 2, and 3, but these 4 sequences, poses really help open up the hip, create a lot of freedom inside of the joint. I hope it helps. We'll see you guys later.